Hello, my wise elders. Welcome back to this great channel. We all consider the bathroom a safe space, a place to get clean and unwind after a long day. Yet the difficult reality is that thousands of older adults experience serious, life-altering injuries in that very room each year. Tomorrow that could be you. You bathe daily. You maintain your hygiene. So, why are you still in danger? Why does this occur? Good day, everyone. As a family physician who has treated patients just like you for more than 35 years, I am here to share a secret. There is one specific part of the body that 90% of Americans age 65 and older are completely unaware of. And if you fail to clean this one area properly, you could be looking at a nursing home, possibly as soon as your 70s. I am not referring to a theory from a book. I am talking about real life. Not long ago, the daughter of Mrs. Helen Archer, a wonderful woman from Tampa, phoned my office in tears. She said, "Doctor, my mother keeps falling. I believe it's time. I need to place her in a nursing home." Mrs. Helen herself was heartbroken. She told me, crying, that she never, ever wanted to be a burden to her family. But by that point, she could not take one step without her walker. I held her hand firmly right there in the examination room, and I said, "Helen, please don't lose hope. When you take a shower, I just want you to wash this one spot exactly like this for only 5 minutes. Can you do that for me? Just try it for 1 month." Everyone, 1 month after that, the very same woman walked into my office on her own, without a walker. So where's the spot? I can tell you it is not your hands, and it is not your feet. If you watch this entire video, you will discover the secret to living a healthy, independent life all the way to 100. But before we begin, I sincerely want to know how many of you have experienced this. If what I just described feels familiar, if you have ever been concerned about falling or about becoming a burden to your loved ones, please comment a simple yes below. It shows me you comprehend, and it shows others in our community that they are absolutely not alone. Okay, let's begin. All right, let's start our countdown. We will begin with position number 5. Now, everyone, let me ask you, how many times a day do you wash your hands? Before meals, after using the toilet, after coming in from yard work. You are washing your hands all the time, correct? It is the first rule of good hygiene we are ever taught. But here is a fact that will astonish you. 97 out of every 100 Americans are washing their hands incorrectly. Position number 5 is your own palm. I know, I can hear you from here. You are thinking, my palms? Doctor, that is ridiculous. Of course, I wash my palms. I am not a child. But please listen to me. There's a vast difference between merely cleaning your palm with soap and truly activating it. I had a patient, a terrific 72-year-old man from Dallas named Rick Adams. Rick came to me because he had been on medication for chronic indigestion for 10 years, an entire decade. He said, "Doctor, it doesn't matter what I eat. I am always bloated, always heavy. Food just sits in my stomach like a rock." He was unhappy. He had visited 5 different hospitals, consulted specialists, and no one could determine the root cause. When he sat in my exam room, I did something he did not anticipate. I asked to see his hands. I held his palms, and folks, they were cold and they were stiff. I looked him directly in the eye and said, "Rick, this is the issue. It is not just in your stomach. It is in your hands." I told him, "When you shower every morning, I want you to try washing your palms in this specific manner." He looked at me as if I were crazy, but he was desperate, so he agreed to try. Just 2 weeks later, my phone rang. It was Rick, and I could hear a smile in his voice. He said, "Doc, I ate an entire bowl of chili last night, and I feel good. I cannot remember the last time I felt good after eating." So why are the palms as powerful? Listen carefully. You have over 7,000 nerve endings. 7,000 concentrated in the palm of each hand. Consider that. That is like having the total population of a small town residing in your hand. And where do those nerves connect? They are direct lines to your stomach, to your liver, to your heart, to your lungs. They are linked to every single major organ you possess. Your palm is not just skin. It is a control panel. It is a road map to your entire body. As we age, this becomes even more crucial. Our circulation naturally begins to slow down. These thousands of nerve endings, they become dormant. They do not send or receive signals as effectively as they once did. This is why you might feel bloated after a meal you have eaten 100 times, or why you just feel tired, as if your internal engine is not functioning properly. This is not merely my opinion. In Japan, researchers studied a group of individuals who lived to be over 100 years old. The results were remarkable. 9 out of 10 of them, 90%, had a daily routine of stimulating their palms. A separate American study discovered that properly stimulating the palms can boost blood circulation throughout the entire body by up to 34%. When your blood flows, everything improves. Your mind becomes clearer, your digestion functions, you sleep more soundly. So, how we do it? It is incredibly simple. First, when you are in a shower under that pleasant warm water, I want you to clap your hands together for 30 seconds. I am serious. Clap them firmly enough to make a sound. You should feel your palms begin to tingle and become warm. That is the sound of 7,000 nerves awakening. That is a feeling of blood rushing to the surface. Second, after your 30 seconds of clapping, I want you to take the thumb of one hand and locate the fleshy muscular section on your other hand, right between your thumb and your index finger. That is a potent spot we call the Hoku point. I want you to press it. Press it firmly. You will feel a dull, satisfying ache. That is good. Maintain that pressure for just 5 seconds. That is all. 30 seconds of clapping, 5 seconds of pressing, not even 1 minute. And this is not just about digestion. I had another patient, Mrs. Patricia Lewis from Detroit, 67 years old. Her issue was different. She told me, "Doctor, my hands and feet are always numb, always tingling, and I wake up at 3 a.m. every single night, and I cannot fall back asleep." I gave her the exact same instructions. 3 weeks later, she returned to my office, and she was beaming. "Doctor," she said, "I slept through the night for the first time, and I don't even know how long, and my hands, they feel warm." We did not cure some unknown illness. We simply turned the power back on. We awakened the control panel, all by washing our palms the correct way. Now, that brings us to position number 4. I want you to perform a small test for me right now. Look down at your legs, at your ankles. At the end of the day, when you remove your socks, do you have that deep, angry red line, that trench carved into your skin? A mark that remains for 10, 20, maybe even 30 minutes? Or try this. Take your thumb and press it firmly into your shin, right against the bone for about 5 seconds. Now release. Do you see a small dent, a small pit where your thumb was? If you do, that is a warning sign. That is edema. That is fluid toxins, waste that is accumulating in your body. And it is happening because you are not paying attention to position number 4. And no, it is not your knees. It is not your ankles. It is the hidden soft spot behind your knees. We call it the popliteal fossa, but you can just call it your knee pit. You see, when the spot becomes clogged, toxins accumulate. When toxins accumulate, your legs swell, your knees hurt, and you lose strength. The unfortunate truth is 8 out of 10 Americans over 60 are severely clogged in this very spot. And you might be, too. Let me explain. Think of the back of your knee as the main drain pipe for your entire lower body. It is not just a bend in your leg. It is home to one of the largest, most crucial clusters of lymph nodes in your body. And what do lymph nodes do? They're your body's garbage disposal. They filter out all the metabolic waste, the toxins, the excess fluid, and send it on its way to be eliminated. So, what occurs when the drain in your kitchen sink gets clogged with grease and debris? The dirty water backs up, correct? It fills the sink and it smells. This is precisely what is happening in your legs. As we get older, 2 things occur. Our lymph system naturally becomes a little slower. And let's be honest, we sit more. Gravity becomes our adversary. All that waste fluid, that gunk, just sits there. It does not get pumped out. It pools in your ankles, causing them to swell. It presses on your joints, causing your knees to ache. It gives you the heavy, lead-like sensation in your legs. You think it is just old age. You think it is arthritis. Folks, so often it is just plumbing. It is a backup. The science on this is incredible. A German research team found that just 1 minute of stimulating the spot can make your lymph system flow twice as fast. It is like pouring drain cleaner down a clogged pipe. A Harvard study, showed that people with clogged popliteal fossa are 6 times more likely to suffer from leg swelling. And my favorite, the American Academy of Orthopedic Surgeons noted that patients who cared for the spot reduced their rates of knee arthritis by half. Consider that. Half the people suffering from grinding knee pain might just have a plumbing issue. I will never forget a patient of mine named David Chun from Cleveland, 68 years old. He came in, "Doc," he said, "my legs are just swollen. I suppose it's just my age." I told him to monitor it. He returned 2 weeks later, and my heart sank. He was using a walker. In 2 weeks, he was a proud man, a plumber his entire life. And he looked at me with pure fear in his eyes. "Doctor," he said, "I cannot trust my legs. The strength is just gone." I had him sit down. I checked the back of his knees. Folks, they were hard as rock. They were totally blocked. I told him, "David, this is the problem. It is all backed up. We need to clear the drain." Here is the simple 1-minute solution I gave him. First, in the shower, take your shower head and direct that warm, pulsing water straight at the back of your knee. Let it stream onto that soft spot for 30 seconds. You are using the heat and the pressure to break up that clog. Second, turn off the water and take your 4 fingers, place them into that soft spot, and just gently rub in a clockwise circle, slow and easy for 30 seconds. Now listen carefully. This is not a deep tissue massage. You are just nudging the pump. That is it. 30 seconds of water, 30 seconds of rubbing. 1 minute. 3 weeks later, David Chin walked into my office without a walker. He said, "Doc, my legs feel light." I walked up the stairs. I feel safe again. I had another patient, Barbara Wilson from Tampa, 71 years old. She had achy, swollen legs for 10 years. She told me her sock marks would last for over an hour. Doctors just patted her on the hand and said, "It's your age, dear." 2 weeks after I gave her the simple instruction, she called me crying. "Doctor," she said, "the marks are gone. The marks are gone. My legs don't ache. It's real. Just by clearing the drain, you can make your legs feel 20 years younger." This brings us to position number 3. Now, having light legs is wonderful, but what good is it if you're still waking up with that nagging low back pain? What good is it if you are constantly planning the locations of restrooms every single time you leave a house? Are you tired? So tired of waking up at 1 a.m. and 3 a.m. and 5 a.m. to use the bathroom? Position number 3 is the key to solving this. And it also takes only about a minute. Last year, a 73-year-old gentleman from Seattle, Thomas Reed, came to see me. He looked pale. He was exhausted. He sat down and said, "Doctor, I am at the end of my rope. I get up 5 times a night. 5. I have not slept for more than 90 minutes at a time in years. I am just so tired." I listened to his story, and I taught him about position number 3. 1 month later, he returned. He looked like a different person. He grabbed my hand and said, "Doctor, I sleep until 6 a.m. I get up once. Sometimes not at all. You gave me my sleep back." This is a problem for both men and women that always intensifies as we age. But 9 out of 10 seniors never even consider addressing it. I am going to tell you right now, position number 3 is your groin. Yes, your groin. The crease where your leg meets your torso. I know you might be shocked. It might feel a bit strange or a little uncomfortable, but I need you to listen to me. This is not strange. This is medical, and it is vitally important. Here's why. Medically speaking, if this area becomes clogged, your entire lower body begins to deteriorate. And if your lower body deteriorates, you cannot walk. And if you cannot walk, you know exactly where you end up. Remember Thomas Reed, the man who got up 5 times a night? When he came in my office, I asked his permission, and I examined that area. And just as I suspected, his groin was cold. Cold to the touch, ice cold. I told him, "Thomas, here is your problem. This whole area is a frozen dam. The circulation is blocked." I gave him a simple 90-second routine. A month later, he came back and said, "Doctor, not only am I sleeping, but my feet are warm. My feet have not been warm in 20 years. So what is the secret? Your groin is the grand central station of your body. It is a superhighway where two critical systems meet. System 1, blood, the massive femoral artery, the main pipeline for blood, runs right through here to supply your entire leg. System 2, lymph, the largest, most powerful cluster of lymph nodes in your body is right here. These nodes are responsible for 70% of your entire lower body's immune system. As we age and as we sit more, this grand central station gets a massive traffic jam. The blood flow downward gets restricted, which is why your feet are cold. The lymph flow upward gets blocked, which puts pressure on all your internal organs, including your bladder, which is what gives you that constant, nagging urge to go. The science is settled. Johns Hopkins published research showing that when these groin lymph nodes are healthy and flowing, your overall immunity increases dramatically. A British study found that people with poor groin circulation are 9 times more likely to suffer from cold legs. Another study found that people who actively stimulate this area can walk on average 8 years longer. Imagine walking strongly at 83 instead of 75. So what do? It is simple. First, in the shower, take that warm water and let it flow right along that crease, that panty line or brief line for 30 seconds. You are just warming up the highway. Second, take the fingertips of both hands and gently press into that crease. Hold for 5 seconds and release. Do this 5 times. Again, gently. You are just nudging the pump. Third, take your flat hands and swipe from your lower abdomen down towards a crease. 10 times. You are clearing the road. That is it. 30 seconds of water. 30 seconds of pressing. 30 seconds of swiping, 90 seconds. This is what helped Mrs. Carol Brown from Las Vegas, 69 years old. She told me she had to wear long underwear in the middle of the Nevada summer because her legs were so cold. Doctors just shrugged. 3 weeks after I taught her this, she called me laughing. "Doctor," she said, "I turned off my electric blanket. My husband thinks it a miracle. Just by clearing this one spot, you can reignite the fire in your entire lower body. And by the way, if your feet are cold right now as you're listening to this, just do me a favor and type the number 2 in the comment below. You are not alone. Now, we move to position number 2. And folks, this one is about your mind because you can have warm feet and light legs. But if your mind is not clear, what good is it? Tell me, does this sound familiar? You walk into the kitchen with a purpose, and you stop. You are just standing there. You can't remember why you went in there. You're having more and more of these senior moments. Or you read a paragraph, and by the end, you've forgotten the beginning. You feel a mental fog that just won't lift. This, everyone, is often a sign that position number 2 is blocked. And no, it's not your ears or your eyes. It's the side of your neck. You see, running up the sides of your neck are your carotid arteries, the most critical supply lines of fresh, oxygen-rich blood to your brain. Right alongside them is your jugular vein, which carries the deoxygenated blood away. This is the primary highway for your brain's nourishment and cleanup. When this area gets tight and clogged from stress, poor posture, or just age, it's like putting a kink in a garden hose that waters your most precious flower, your brain. The flow of blood and the removal of waste slow to a trickle. Your brain, starved of fuel and swimming in toxins, simply cannot function clearly. The fog sets in. The memory stumbles. I had a patient, Mr. Edward Jones from Portland, 74 years old, a brilliant retired history teacher. He came to me terrified, saying, "Doctor, I'm losing my words. I stand in front of my class for the senior center, and my mind goes blank. I'm afraid I'm getting early dementia." His fear was palpable. I showed him how to care for position number 2. It takes less than 60 seconds. First, In the shower, let the warm water run over the sides of your neck for 20 seconds on each side. Loosen the muscles, warm the pipes. Second, after drying off, take 2 fingers and gently press into the muscle along the side of your neck, not on the windpipe. Find a tender spot. Hold it with a gentle pressure for 5 seconds and release. Do this 3 times on each side. You're not choking yourself. You're awakening the pathway. Third, slowly and gently, tilt your head from side to side, ear to shoulder, 5 times. You are stretching the highway open. That's it. 6 weeks later, Edward came back. He had a sparkle in his eye I hadn't seen before. "Doctor," he said, "I taught my entire 2-hour class last Tuesday. Not a single lost word. The fog, it's gone." This brings us to the final, most important spot of all, position number 1. You've learned how to wake up your control panels, clear your drains, unclog your Grand Central Station, and open the highway to your brain. But position number 1 is the master switch. It connects everything you've just learned. It is the single most powerful spot for boosting your energy, melting away stress, and ensuring your entire body works in harmony. If you do nothing else, you must do this one. But I cannot simply tell you what it is. You have to see it to understand the simple 30-second technique that activates it. It's that important. So, if you are ready to take full control of your health, to feel energetic, clear-headed, and strong in your body for years to come, I want you to click the link on the screen right now to watch my special free presentation. I will reveal position number 1 and show you how to integrate all 5 spots into a simple 3-minute daily routine that can change everything. Don't wait for a fall, for a diagnosis, for that dreaded phone call to a child. Your independence is the most valuable thing you have. Click the link and let's get started on securing it together. Thank you for spending this time with us today. We'd love to hear your thoughts. Leave a comment below and share one thing you learned and how you'll apply it in your life. Your comments inspire us to keep going. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe to Elderly Health Tips and share. Your support makes it possible for us to continue creating content that informs and uplifts. We appreciate you watching, and we look forward to seeing you in the next video.